YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Crypto J coming at you with another J Talks Crypto. We're gonna talk about some Bitcoin. We're gonna talk about some Toshi. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't buy nothing you see in this video. You gotta be an idiot buying stuff off what people say on YouTube, right? Just here to give you my opinions, which again are worth absolutely nothing. So as you guys can see, the total market cap coming in at 3.73. Bitcoin looking pretty volatile today, which is what we said yesterday, right? Everybody was too bullish, right? I was saying that. Everybody's so bullish for it, right? We already hit our price target. Our price target was 120, and Bitcoin shot way up above to 123. So I was already planning on this thing seeing a little bit of volatility. That's okay, right? We see fake outs early on in the week on a Monday, right? I'm not tripping on that, bro. I'm not tripping that Bitcoin just dropped down to 17, to be honest with you. Because I look for real price action to happen on a Thursday, right? I'm looking for this price to start doing something again on a Thursday. As you guys can see, Bitcoin starting to really break this resistance or this level support now, and looking like it wants to see a retest of some of these lower ranges, possibly even looking like it wants to see a retest of like 110. I was saying like we're gonna need like maybe like a 10 to 15% price correction, maybe. But I don't think that that's going to be necessarily like a correction. I don't think that's necessarily a correction. But as you guys can see, Bitcoin's still creating higher lows here. So we still Gucci, right? As you guys can see, we're at coming in at 17.2 right now, and still looking structurally intact. I don't think that, again, this is the blow off top that we were talking about. But I did tell you guys just yesterday that we were going to see some volatility. I told you now, didn't I? We went all the way up to 123 and then came down to 117. Man, if that doesn't deserve a like, I don't know what deserves a like, guys. I mean, I don't know who else is doing this. I think nobody was saying this yesterday except for me. I was saying, whoa, we already blew way past our target, right? But as you guys can see again, because we had that pump up on Sunday, I was concerned about this dump on a Monday. Don't we always see this? Haven't I ever mentioned this? I've ever mentioned this before every single week. But guys, aren't you kind of starting to see a little bit how this market's starting to move? How sometimes it has a little bit of a way of doing something similar a lot of the time, right? If you spend enough time on these charts like I do, I'm telling you, man, I look at these things every single day. That's why it's like not a surprise to me. But again, I don't think that we're fully broken down. I'm not too concerned on it. As a matter of fact, let's pull up Trading View just for the lulls, right, bro? We'll do it for the lulls, huh? So you guys can see Bitcoin starting to look a little bit volatile here. Let's pull up some of these indicators. So you guys can see Bitcoin touching back down on this one day right here. We got to hold some support. We do know what happens sometimes when Bitcoin starts trading up above this third Keltner channel. Again, sometimes we see a little bit of correction. Exactly what I said in the prior videos, guys. We've been talking about this now for 2 days. What happens when we get up above this? We have to see healthy price action. It's not to say necessarily that this trend is going to break all the way down, but it is saying that it is a possibility that, again, we could see a retest of down here, right? 112 range, right? And still be intact. This cycle would still be intact if that happened. But just understand that, guys, that again, Bitcoin is a volatile asset. All this space is volatile. And again, we're really paying attention here on this weekly, right? To see if we do want to have a breakout. You guys see, we want to have a rejection and a dip down to some of these lower levels. We could even see levels as low as like 100K. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's going to happen. It's always a possibility that can happen, but I think more than likely, we're going to see a little bit of volatility, and then we're going to see some real price action happen on Thursday. Now, we do have some big news and all kinds of stuff happening this week. We're going to talk about the interest rate and whatnot. Good old Jerome. Good old Romey Rome, right? Gonna burst our bubble. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with Romey Rome. But as you guys can see, we gotta make a good solid close on this weekly candle. Otherwise, we might be a little bit cooked here, right? Again, we might see a little bit of a retest of some lower ranges, which, again, totally normal. As you guys can see, the past hour Bitcoin printing some heavy red, starting to break down. We talk about what happens when we rip below this bottom Keltner channel. Stay with me now. Slippery slope, right? So again, I do think that Bitcoin is going to be looking a little bit volatile just based off of this 1 hour chart. Again, nothing's changed, right, guys? People, I say nothing's changed, nothing's changed. And everybody gets mad at me every time the price gets a little volatile. They're like, everything's changed. Why do you keep saying nothing's changed? Dude, has nothing changed? Seriously, like for the guys that have been watching the channel, the guys that have been paying attention every time that we talk about the days of the week and price action and what price action usually looks like. Again, nobody's talking about this. And I'm not a financial advisor. It's not for sure. It's not to say that every time I say something, it's going to happen, but dang, I'm pretty good, huh? Right? As you guys can see, though, we might see a retest, like I was saying. Some of these lower ranges. It's a possibility. It's a possibility, but again, I'm not saying that I'm bearish on the cycle. I'm not even saying that we've seen a blow off top. I'm just saying that Bitcoin needs a little bit of time to breathe, guys. You gotta understand. This is not going to be a straight line. I know you want it to be, but again, Bitcoin is really starting to see a big run up, and some people wondering, can we see another leg on this thing? Right? I think there's a good chance that we could, but I do think that we might need to drop down, see a little bit of a retest. Even look, this top filter channel right here is 112. So if we wanted to drop down just a smidget, right, just a smidget, we could still, you know, still be intact. In my opinion, this cycle is still intact. This trend is still intact. Some of my long-term indicators, I go by the long-term metrics, guys. I've been going by these long-term metrics literally the entire time. But I do want to check out the RSI just to see. You see how we're creating this shoulder head shoulder here on the RSI. If we have a retest of this and we break below this moving average here, then that could be a little bit of volatility, a lot of volatility actually, meaning that we're gonna see probable retest. But again, we're still creating higher lows in this situation on the monthly. I'm not tripping at all, really, on this. So, again, just business as usual, in my opinion. But again, things are always speculative. You guys can see a lot of fear starting to trickle down through the market. Even our good buddy Toshi, right? We were saying in our last video that we need to be careful of this little McDonald's, right? This little, I'm not loving it, right? Broke down, created a bear flag, and now at a rejection of this bond filler channel. Again, we are sitting on some key support on Toshi, um, and even starting to break down below on the daily as well. Um, but again, we have not had a close on this daily candle yet, so all good. As well as the fact that we have not trended below the second Keltner channel. So I feel good about that. I don't want to see us start trending too far below that second Keltner channel. We want to see a bounce off of this. I'm thinking probably if you had to ask me to predict the future based off of this, I would tell you it's impossible. But if you want me to, I can. I think that in a situation like this, we can see a possible retest of this second Keltner channel. Hopefully, uh, before Thursday. I'm hoping that we can bounce off of this on Thursday, or we need to start eating back up this daily real quick, right? We got to start catching some support down here. We got a little bit of support right here. You guys can see it's kind of resting right now. But again, we don't want to start breaking too far down. If we do, again, we might see this on Thursday. Hopefully, we don't see this on Thursday. This wouldn't be as hot, right? Because we're still right now creating higher lows. We're still looking solid, and we've been making some good volume. So I just wouldn't want to see a retest of this bottom Keltner channel. Again, the 4-2, right? Starting to look like what's going to happen here, right? We got to see some kind of double bottom action or something happen pretty soon. Again, some of these indicators looking like they're a little bit funky due to this Bitcoin sell-off. Bitcoin looking volatile right now itself, starting to break below this second Keltner channel as well. And like I said, right, you guys can see you reject off this bottom Keltner channel, and sometimes this could start looking like a slippery slope. So just something to pay attention to. Again, we're going to keep covering it, guys. I'm not bearish on the cycle. I'm not trying to deter you guys. I'm just trying to let you guys